Hello, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful Friday and a better way of life. As you can see, Marianne Mills, who normally sits beside me here in the studio to present this for you every week, is not here at the moment. Let's see if we can find her. She's definitely out there somewhere, and I'm sure that we can actually find her, and we will then be able to see what she's up to. Here she is. Ah, she's on holiday. Well, there we go. That explains why she's not here. Have a fantastic holiday, Marianne. Cheers to you. And we wish you a speedy flight back from wherever it is that you are very, very soon. But don't worry, you will see some of Marianne within this episode because by the magic of Grayskull or even modern technology, we are going to play some clips over the next 30 minutes or so from previous episodes, and I will then react to them. What a wonderful thing, isn't it, technology, that we can do all of this wonderful thing? So let's start where we mean to start, with a little bit of Marianne as we bring Marianne to the stage, and I'm going to react to this particular clip.
29th to the 31st of May, so that's with the AET in Solihull. Lovely venue.
Nice central.
So you've got 2 days of me teaching you, and then on the last day you showcase what you've learnt and you do a micro teach, and that will be a qualification. That's something you don't have to update. However, I'm watch this space with something that's coming up. But yeah, and that will allow you to deliver accredited qualifications for anything really, and also it will help you for delivering presentations or anything really, and just being more confident. And it's £550.
Wow, fantastic. There you go. That was Marianne talking back, it must have been sort of April time, about upcoming course, open course for her AET. She runs a company called 2M Training that was running in May. That happened. It was successful. There is another set of dates coming up in September, and I shall put comments with those dates on here so you can then go and find them. But you can find details as well of the AET training at 2mtraining.co.uk. What an incredibly important qualification it is as well. The ability to train effectively. So this is training in training. If you're a trainer out there and you are training people for whatever reason as part of your job, maybe it's that you're training them how to use a piece of machinery. Maybe you're training people how to sell. Maybe you're training customers on a process or something like that. You're taking people on a journey. It's really important to make sure that everybody that you train actually not only has heard that information, but knows and understands that information and can actually use the information that you've given them. And that's what a qualification in training does for you. It means that you know and people know that whatever you've taught them or whatever they teach, means that other people will benefit from that information. What a wonderful thing. So if that's you, if you've never really thought about it, if you thought, well, yeah, but I teach people all the time or train people all the time, and you've just kind of fallen into it accidentally, then we'd love to hear from you. Come and join us in Birmingham or the Birmingham area near Solihull in September. Get yourself the qualification that you really need. Absolute snip at £550. If you've got an organisation with a group of people that want to do it, come and talk to us about how we can deliver that for you there. But that's enough of that sales talk. Let's now go back to a time when Becky was with us and see what Becky had to say. A little bit more about you. Who are you? What is it you do?
So I am a trainer and facilitator. My background in education, so I was a teacher in secondary school for many years, drama teacher, and then went on to be a special educational needs coordinator, but just found the need far greater than what I could offer in schools, and basically have subsequently, with a few things in between, ended up running my own business where I am supporting adults who work with young people around mental health and well-being, but increasingly also just supporting adults around mental health and well-being.
Wow. You're a busy lady. Indeed. She's a really busy lady. And how important is that work, supporting adults around the area of mental health and well-being? So vital. Interesting. There's a link there again with training. She started off in training. And it's interesting that when we talk to her, how important, again, it came out how important it is that if you are training, you get those qualifications in training so that you know that you're delivering things effectively. We've seen such a rise in the need for support of people with well-being and mental health issues over the last few years. Can't say exactly what the rise is down to. Is it down to a change in society? Is it down to a change in the way that we work? Is it down to the pace of life in general? You know, is there a change in pressures, or are we just more educated now on where people are? You know, have things always been the same, but people have kept quiet? I can't literally put my finger on exactly why we're seeing so many cases of mental health issues and you know, poor well-being in many respects nowadays, but it certainly is the case. What things are you finding out there as well? We'd love to hear from you, and if you work in that area, it's definitely something that we'd like to highlight and talk about on this program as we share. The aim of this program, of course, A Better Way of Life, is to share the voices of those people out there that are doing a fantastic job in helping everyone to have a better way of life. And especially, I have to say, those unsung heroes, maybe people that don't necessarily always get an opportunity to come on a podcast or speak their voice. Those are the kind of people that we really love to hear from. We're back with Marianne again. I wonder what she's going to say this time.
Problem often comes is that people are set up, I think, when they're in the workplace and they're asked to be a trainer, they're set up in a way, and then they come to my training and then say, oh my gosh, I've been doing it so badly, to which straight off I let people know it's not about shaming, it's not about any of that. It's about saying, how can we get you to be better than you were when you started, whatever that starting point is. And then you get, like I said, then there's the other people there's the people that come to me that then want to be better, but there's a whole raft of people out there who are very good at what they do that then go, oh, I'm gonna put some training out there. And it does frustrate me somewhat because I've said before, I cook meals for my children, but I'm not a chef.
Oh yeah. What a great saying. I cook meals for my children, but I'm not a chef. That's very definitely me as well, by the way. I'm an absolute dab hand when it comes to several dishes. I'll just go through those. Spaghetti carbonara, but I don't make the sauce from scratch. I do buy it out of a packet. But I'm great at chopping mushrooms. Yeah, really good skill. Chili con carne, again, I don't make the sauce. I buy that out of a packet. I add water, etc. I know I'm going to get a lot of people now that are very upset about all of this, but again, quite good at that. Love to do fajitas. I'm basically the way I cook is if it involves a bit of chopping, a bit of mixing together with a packet and whatever, and then turning it out, I'm pretty good. The only time that I'd ever make a sauce from scratch is probably if I'm doing a steak. Yeah, something like steak Diane. I'd make that sauce from scratch, just because I have in the past once or twice. I certainly would avoid microwave meals unless it's a curry in the box occasionally, because sometimes that's quite nice on a Friday night. But yeah, apart from that, would tend to avoid that. But I am, as Marianne said, no chef. And I think sometimes people get that wrong, that they think because they're very good at doing something, they're then very good at training. Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. People might say, but people like me. I know I get really good feedback and whatever. It's not that difficult to get really good feedback if you're a really likable person. Again, doesn't actually mean that your training's that great. I had some teachers at school that were really lovely people, but their teaching was absolutely dire. And I had other teachers who I didn't really like as people, but their teaching was fantastic. You see? Just think about that for a minute. It's really quite an important point, isn't it? So don't always assume that sort of likes and being popular and all of those sort of things makes you a really good trainer. Something to think about. As we bring on our next clip, which is wonderful. I think it's a wonderful Kirk talking again about support for people, more this time around support for men.
With supporting yourself, you actually, before you do anything about helping other people, you learn how to look after yourselves. And it's just basic things that you think that individuals would know, but we just don't allow for that. Because of our background, we're actually giving them nutritional information, because a lot of the people on sites are having at least 3 cans of Monster a day. We're also going through the benefits of exercise, but not just, instead of just going, you should probably exercise, because of our backgrounds, we're going, this is what you get out of running. This is what you get out of strength and conditioning. But there are a lot of psychological gains to be met by doing something like that. So it starts off supporting yourself, then it's supporting someone else, then supporting your team, and then right at the top is supporting your organization. Reactive's part of it, but it's based on, we are trying to prevent people from getting to that place in the first instance.
There was a couple of little things in there that immediately sprung to mind. When he was talking about kind of look after yourself first. When you're on an aeroplane, that bit always gets me, where they go, when the mask drops down from above your head, it said always try and fit your own mask first and get yourself breathing before you attempt to help others with their mask, which makes sense really, because otherwise you might be suffocating and you're not going to be able to help anybody. And if everybody adopted that, it's one situation in life actually where you actually want people to be selfish for a few minutes first, rather than look outwards, which would generally be my sort of take on life. But in that instance, that few minutes of looking after yourself first could actually mean that everybody gets helped, which is really good. But I also really loved the story about kind of nutrition there. I have to say, I've had some amazing examples of that from when I was a workplace assessor over the years, which is a job where you go around and you assess people in the workplace for various different conditions, and then write a set of adjustments for them. And I can remember very distinctly one case where it was a young woman working in a bank, and she was collapsing half the time. And I was asked to go in to do a workplace assessment from an ergonomics point of view initially, but I very soon realised that actually most of her ergonomics were pretty okay. And I asked her a question about what it was that she ate during the day. And when the answer came back 3 McDonald's a day, there we had our answer. And I very promptly sort of signposted her to a dietitian for some advice. Lo and behold, her diet was improved, and so was her condition. It doesn't take a rocket science sometimes, but I wonder how many of you out there are actually ever looking at what the people around you are putting into their mouths at work, etc. Are you taking consideration of that? And actually, sometimes, and I've seen this as well, people sort of gloat over eating the most ridiculous stuff, a bit like the free cans of and other brands are available, Monster, or as we say, sort of sugary drinks that he also mentioned there. But yeah, if you get people that are doing that and say, "Oh, I've just eaten 4 Greg's sausage rolls, followed by this," and nothing wrong with a Greg's sausage roll, or and again, other pastry manufacturers are available, but maybe anything in excess and on a regular basis, especially if it's not a balanced diet, may not be particularly good. So some great advice there from Kirk, and certainly a person that you might want to connect with on your LinkedIn and keep in touch with. Do listen out, by the way, for any of these whole episodes, which are available on Spotify. And if you want to find them very easily as well, you can make your way over to abetterwayoflife.co.uk. I should almost make a little banner, shouldn't I, and have that displayed at the bottom, a bit like this. How about that? abetterwayoflife.co.uk. Whilst I'm on that subject, if you also head over there, we've also started a lovely little network support group where people like the people on the show and people like you can come in and receive support from each other. If you would like to join the group, it's a wonderful thing. It's only £10 a month. We've got some great people in there and we're running some courses in there as well. Wonderful. Yeah, and you can use it. It's an app as well as on as well as on your screen. It's also an app. You can carry it on your phone, and you can have lots of little conversations with people. And we have regular sort of like meetups as well. Wonderful. I'm going to take that little ticker tape off now, like this. So there it goes. I wonder how Marianne, by the way, is getting on her holiday. Perhaps we should just check in and make sure she's okay. Because I feel like it's been a while now. Just a quick check. Let's just see. Marianne. Yes, she's fine. That's good. Seems like she's still on the same drink, which is good because it's very early in the morning, etc. Now, the next guest clip that we're going to play is from a young lady called Charlotte, who goes under the name of B Charlotte. When as a musician, she's written a lot of great songs. She released her first album this year. She also runs, at a very tender age, her own record label as well. So let's have this clip, which does feature the wonderful B Charlotte. The whole COVID period really made people kind of rewire with regards to that, which is that I think a lot of my generation went through life being told this is what you have got to do.
Yeah. What you want to be when you're older. That's what
and I think we still tell youngsters that, or ask that question, what do you want to be when you're older? Do you really know what you want to do? Make sure you make all the right choices.
And it's got to measure up to what your parents want.
Yes, but then that was it. I mean, then, along the line, you were told sort of like, actually, I don't want you doing that. I don't want you doing that. And I think that is why suddenly when the world stopped and people had to rethink and they had to a lot of people thought, sod it, that's what I've always wanted to do and I'm gonna do it now. You may have noticed that the wonderful Charlotte didn't actually say anything in that clip. That's because I was talking the hind leg off a donkey, but she was nodding ferociously. If you'd like to actually hear Charlotte, see what I've done there, I've actually teased you into now wanting to go and listen to the episode so you actually can hear some of the wonderful things that Charlotte said. But we were discussing that thing where actually a lot of young people don't know what they want to do. And they don't, do they? They don't really know what they want to do. In fact, there was a post on it, not this morning, because I'm actually recording this on the Thursday. Oh, yeah, well, it was on the Thursday, not this morning, Friday, when you're watching this, but yesterday. You can probably go and find it. An 18-year-old that was saying, I don't really know what I want to do now. I don't know whether I should be going off to university or whether, I feel like I feel that entrepreneurialism is in my veins. Should I be going and doing that? My answer to that was do everything. Do all of it. I don't see it as an exclusive thing, really. I started my first business when I was 11 years old. 11. It was great business as well. Won a Young Enterprise Award for that. Yes. But the thing is, the way I see it is along the way, I did lots of different things all at the same time. Even when I was doing my degree, I did a diploma in broadcast journalism during my degree. So actually, if you want to be an entrepreneur, and actually, I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're not going to think about it. You're just going to do it. Because it's that's kind of within you. It's innate. If you want to do that, and you value education and everything as well, do all of it. Do all of it at the same time. Start a business. Start a business at university. Find a way of making money whilst you do your degree. Okay, there are some websites that allow you to make money whilst you're doing your degree, but you might want to make one of your own. That's all I'm saying. there you go. The wonderful B Charlotte. Go and check her out on the old YouTube and Spotify as well, and get a copy of her album. It's absolutely amazing. Now, who's up next? Let's have a look, see who we can find.
Introducing the regulations or legislation, or getting the kind of right balance of diversity. It's people have to genuinely believe these things, not just be like forced to
Big box.
meet the regulations. I think it's kind of about, kind of inspiring is a bad word to use in this case, a disability, but depends what you're inspiring them to do. Often you inspire someone to become allies of disabled people or commit themselves to educating themselves. That's really what you want to inspire people to do, not just kind of feel better about their own situation compared to other people's.
Oh yeah, the wonderful Callum Grievers who came on, and we had a wonderful chat about sort of inclusion, accessibility, etc. And so right, isn't he? So right. So many people out there just giving lip service when it comes to sort of equality, diversity, and inclusion. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. What we want is to see impactful change. And sometimes that just starts with actually admitting that we don't know a lot, and that we're actually coming from quite an ignorant place, and that's fine. You know, I think there's the fear, and we did talk about that within the podcast. I think there's a fear of saying, I don't actually know. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say or what I'm not allowed to say, and is this politically correct or this? You know, actually, nobody minds if you say you don't know. What they do mind is if you can continue to say out of ignorance the wrong thing. You know, there's a massive difference between the two there. So yeah, great episode with Callum. Great episode, very educational. Made me think about a lot of things. Made me think about whether you know, there are bigger changes that I can make in my life as well. Go and listen to it. Go and watch it on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel, and again, it's on the Spotify. Go and find A Better Way of Life on your Spotify. Plenty of episodes to listen to now. Over 20 episodes to listen to. You'll learn something. I absolutely promise you will learn something. Who's up next to the stage, and what are they going to be talking about? I don't know. Let's have a look.
Was as I went round, virtually all of the training companies were run by people that have training qualifications.
That's good.
And actually, we had conversations then about actually how we could collaborate.
Now, you see, that's brilliant. That is after we'd been to COTS, which is a show down in Exeter to do with occupational therapy. And it was a joy that we did find that a lot of the training companies were run by people that had training qualifications. It's not always the case. And that meant they really understood training. Going back to the same point that I made earlier, really. Do the people in your sector who deliver training and run training, do they have training qualifications? There's a good question to go and find out. Love to know. If they don't, let us know. We'd love to speak to them. We have someone else now who had a great deal to say on the show not that long ago. The wonderful Sophie, and here she comes.
I want to have a voice within that. This is terrible debate. I need to say something completely different to grab the attention.
Yes.
And then they read my take on it, which I mean, in this case, it was, well, if it can be reversed, it can also be manifested within people. And that would be making the world a nicer place for all of us, because everyone would say exactly what they mean. There wouldn't be office politics, and I would love it, you know.
It's interesting because we kind of had this conversation earlier in the business meeting that we were in. Now, this is a really interesting topic, not necessarily the topic that Sophie was talking about. And if you want to hear more of that, guess what? You need to go and listen to the episode. But it's how social media works and how social media plays things. And that has been no more relevant than in the last few days with what we've seen around the rioting, etc. So it's really interesting, actually, that more and more people are kind of picking up on the fact that you almost have to play a game or sensationalize something or put something as the sort of heading on something in order to grab people's attention to then talk about the thing that you really want to talk about. Sad, really, isn't it? But yeah, that's true. And I do wonder sometimes whether we get lost in the world of path. I certainly feel that sometimes when I look at social media, that there's a lot of people literally filling the space with stuff that's nothing. And actually, you might say, well, that doesn't matter. I know me and Marianne talk about this all the time. It does matter because it matters because other people want to actually fill the space with something that's really important. Think about that. You could say, well, yeah, but then, you know, each to their own. And if someone just wants to, you know, take a selfie and talk about nonsense and whatever, then that's absolutely fine. Well, the truth of the matter is, though, they are eating up airtime. So, yeah, it is fine. But, and freedom of speech and all of that, and freedom of creativity and all of that. But let's just think about whether or not actually, when you're putting, I just want you to think about when you're putting stuff out there, are you actually making the most of the gift that you've been given to have that freedom of speech? Are you making the most of the opportunity that you've got in front of you, right? Or are you just stealing other people's time and space, really? It's a good thing to think about. We're going to finish today. I'm going to keep it quite a short show. I said around half an hour or whatever, with one more visit to me and Marianne talking on the show. Let's see what she's got to say this time.
I noticed there was a need in the market, not gap, but there was a need in the market. So what I did was I set 2, I took the level 4, stripped bits back of it and took what was needed. And I've basically written something. It's a 9-unit course that can be taken in bits or it can be taken in its entirety that actually hits the mark for people. So people that have been trainers for a long, long time, things have moved on, really good for them. There's other people who have been promoted. So they might be promoted to training manager, or they might be writing their own courses, and they'll be massively out of their depth. They've just got the AT. And then there's the people that are self-employed who probably don't have the money to get someone like me to write their training, but also they want to learn how to write their own courses. And so, yeah, I've done it for the people. I've done it for the trainers because I'm one.
Oh, there we go. Stopped in her prime, but there we go. So if that's you, if you've already done your AET level 3, if you've already done your petals, if you've already done train the trainer, if you've had some training in training, but maybe when you did it, it felt like a little bit of a tick box exercise. Someone was just trying to get you through the exercise in order to you know, say, oh yeah, they've done that, etc. But you really do want to advance your training and you want to take it to the next level. That is what Marianne has written. It's a brand new course. It's exclusive to her, and she'd love to talk to you about it. As she said, it's available in 9 units, which means that you can do it bit by bit. You don't have to do it all at once, and you can do it over a period of time. And for the time being, she won't want me telling you this, but if you want to be an early adopter, there is a special price as well, so that she can get valuable feedback and you know, make sure that it's absolutely brilliant. It has been accredited by Highfield, so you get a proper certificate and everything for it. This isn't just a piece of CPD. This is a proper accredited qualification in training, which she has developed. And that's it for today. I said around half an hour. This has been a little bit of a review of previous episodes. I hope you've enjoyed it. It might act as a little bit of an introduction if you've been listening to this on the Spotify to the podcast, and hopefully now you'll go and investigate some of the people that were featured in the clips on this. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the Friday. Be safe out there, and if you're going out and doing something at the weekend, enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's not raining all weekend. Until next time, bye for now.